Well, see, one of the things that's a big problem is you've got vested interests with so much money where what the right thing to do gets difficult to do.
Yeah.
One of the things this country needs to get back to doing is doing stuff. Well, let me just give you some shocking little things I read in business magazines. When I go on planes, I'm reading the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, I'm reading Fortune, Business Week, New Economist, all of the Economist, all those magazines. Well, in one of those magazines I read that venture capital makes less money than credit default swaps. Well, venture capital funds real things. Credit default swaps is fraudulent. That's when I finally figured out what a credit default swap was. I mean, banks need to get back to funding what I'm going to call real stuff rather than trading. I'll just give you another little scary fact. For me to understand, money, because since I think totally in visual pictures and I'm not very abstract, how do I understand $8 billion? Well, the Denver airport's worth between $4 to $5 billion. That's what it costs to build the Denver airport. So 100 billion is 20 Denvers. The original bailout was 2 Denver airports for every state. Okay, that puts that money into a form that I can get my head around. When they talk about how many grains of sand it is back 1,000 years, that doesn't mean anything to me. But Denver airports, I can understand that. It'll give you everything. Air traffic control, Pena Boulevard, give you all the car rental buildings, buy the land, all the security systems, give you all the little shop spaces. The only thing you won't get is what they call rolling stock, and that's things that have rubber tires. That's the airplanes and the vehicles that service the airplanes. But everything else will be there except the contents of the shops. Okay, I'm going to pick somebody over here. Not very talkative. Well, I'm going to have to just pick somebody out then. How about, okay, right there. Well, one of the reasons I have reservism is to keep them from deteriorating. I myself don't eat a lot of over-processed food. Now, I do a lot of talks and autism meetings, and we have a lot of very low-income people. And one of the things that really helps a lot of kids, not all kids, but maybe 10, 20% of the autistic kids, to be special diets, like wheat-free, dairy-free diet. And I have low-income moms coming up to me and saying, well, organic milk's $6 a gallon or something, I say buy it at Walmart. Because for most of the kids, if you just buy the plain stuff, not all the processed junk, they can't afford that. This is one of the problems. The important thing, and it's easy to do a casing gluten-free diet Mexican. You just do corn tortillas and leave the cheese off, and you've got Mexican casing gluten-free diet. It's simple. It only gets expensive when you gotta buy all the stuff that looks like bread. But I can't tell some low-income mom, that's making $7 an hour that she's got to, buy organic food for a kid. She can't afford it. Okay?
Do you have advice for those of us who have backyard poultry, how to keep our backyard poultry happy and healthy?
How to keep poultry happy and healthy?
Backyard, yeah.
Well, one of the things you got to keep them clean. That's really important. Another problem is dogs. Dogs getting in, or fox getting in and killing backyard poultry. So you've got to make sure you lock them up at night. But it's important to keep them clean and make sure that you're feeding them so they get all their minerals and vitamins. You can feed chickens a lot of vegetable scraps and things, but you've got to make sure they get enough minerals to make eggs. What kind of problems have you been having with them?
Well, we're not having problems yet. We have ducks, and just to, do they need their routine to be the same?
Well, the thing about ducks is ducks like to get in water.
Yeah.
And for a backyard, chickens I think are going to be easier than ducks, because ducks like to get wet and that gets messy. So I think if someone called me up and said, should I get ducks or chickens or backyard poultry, I would recommend that they get chickens. simply because you don't have the water issue. I don't have any pets now because I'm on the road 90% of the time. I'm basically living on the road right now, and I wouldn't be right for the pet. You know, one of the big problems that a lot of dogs have, people being away at work, is the problem of being home alone. Some dogs handle that better than others. Some don't handle it well. You may need to let a next door neighbor take the dog, or take them to doggy daycare, or take them to work if they'll let you. Okay. You, right there?
See, we have a cat that has feline AIDS. He's getting older, but we're wondering if we should feed it more raw chicken, maybe ground up bone, something to keep his health up.
Should they feed the cat, raw meat and things like that? A lot of dog foods contain a lot of grain in it. I don't know about feline AIDS, but I'll tell you a story. That when my student's dog, she had a Shar-Pei, got all these fungal infections in the folds in between its skin. And I said, well, why don't we just try putting them on a wheat-free diet? So she found some dog food that didn't have any wheat in it, and the fungal infection got a lot better. I think there's some dogs do not do well on a high-carb diet. You need to find foods where you get the carbs down. In other words, lower amounts of grain in it. Other dogs do fine on that. There's a lot of variation, but some dogs kind of go and stir crazy, hyper with energy. Then you might want to do something with lower carbs, and then also a lot more exercise. A lot of animals are not getting enough exercise. I find even for myself that if I don't do my 100 sit-ups every night, I have a difficult time sleeping.
You said you travel a lot.
Yeah, 90% of the time.
Do you find it difficult to eat good food while you're traveling, given that you got zone, subway, you don't really have a
Well, what do I eat when I travel? I'll eat a lot of Mexican. If I find some little Mexican joint, I'll eat there. You have to sort of find the things that are good. Wendy's has a very nice, chicken cranberry salad that's really good. I have that. Chinese food. You have to just sort of find, different places around. Well, I don't eat bread, so I have Subway as on the bottom of my list. People can say, let's go to Subway, and I go, no. I do not like Subway. I would rather have a salad at one of the restaurant places. That's sort of the way I do things. Or I might have the hamburger and get the apples and eat the hamburger without the bread. Where I really get in trouble is if I stay at the Motel 6 or someplace like that. They got pastries for breakfast. That I gotta go. Then what I'll do is I'll go down to McDonald's. I'll take an apple off the breakfast bar at the Motel 6 or the Econo Lodge, and then go down to McDonald's and just eat a sausage patty. You have to sort of figure out how to do things. And one thing